hundreds of thousands of federal employees to be furloughed while others, including FBI and CIA agents, will work without pay. The United States government shutdown began on Wednesday after Democrats and Republicans in the Senate failed to agree on a short-term government funding plan. Here is what happens next. Why has the U.S. government shut down? The U.S. government shutdown began on 0001 EDT 0401 GMT on Wednesday, which marked the beginning of the new fiscal year, at which point the past year's funding for government operations expired. Republicans control both chambers of Congress, but failed to gather consensus to pass their bill laying out funding for government operations until November 21st. Without this bill, the government cannot function. Democrats refuse to support the bill unless Republicans reverse recent cuts to Medicaid enacted under Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill in July. Democrats proposed alternative solutions to the bill, but these were rejected by the Republicans. Congress was left deadlocked. What happens to government employees now? When the government shuts down, agencies must furlough, suspend or discharge their non-accepted or non-essential employees. These furloughed employees receive no pay for the duration of the shutdown. Once the government resumes operations, most will receive back pay, thanks to a 2019 bill passed by Congress enshrining this into law. That law makes no mention of contract staff, however, meaning cleaning staff and other contractors working in affected government departments and agencies will only be paid if their contracting firm has budgeted for this. Each agency has already been required to submit its own staffing plan in the event of a government shutdown. The funding lapse could lead to approximately 750,000 federal employees being furloughed each day of the shutdown, according to the Congressional Budget Office, CBO. This would result in a daily loss of about $400 million in wages, it said. 2 years into Trump's first term, in December 2018, a 35-day partial government shutdown occurred, the longest in modern U.S. history, after Congress again failed to agree on government funding. 9 federal departments were fully or partially closed: Agriculture, Commerce, Homeland Security, Housing and Urban Development, Interior, Justice, State, Transportation, and Treasury. The FBI, CIA, Drug Enforcement Administration, Coast Guard, and other federal law enforcement agencies will continue to operate during the shutdown, and employees will stay on the job but will be unpaid until the shutdown comes to an end. The U.S. Postal Service, which earns its revenue from its services and is not funded by tax money, will continue operations during the shutdown. Post offices will remain open. The International Revenue Service, IRS, will remain fully staffed for the first 5 days of the shutdown. The agency's strategy does not detail what will happen to its staff if the shutdown lasts longer than 5 days. This year, the IRS lost about a quarter of its staff, many as a result of layoffs ordered by the Trump administration, and now employs approximately 75,000 people. More than 13,000 air traffic controllers will continue to work during the shutdown. Courts could run out of funds to remain fully operational as early as Friday, the federal judiciary warned last week. This marks a shift from the last shutdown during Trump's first term, when courts stayed open for 5 weeks. During the shutdown, the 2 million U.S. military personnel will remain on duty without pay until it ends, and National Guard forces deployed to cities by Trump will also continue working. Trump has ordered the Department of Defense to rename itself the Department of War, but this requires congressional approval. Most Justice Department staff overseeing the running of immigration courts will continue working. as Trump has declared illegal migration a national emergency, according to a statement released by the department. Employees who coordinate with state and local officials to order immigrant arrests will also remain on the job. Border Patrol, immigration enforcement agents, and most customs officers will stay at their posts, according to Department of Homeland Security's shutdown strategy. About 4,000 Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, employees will be furloughed, according to the agency. However, FEMA has about $2.3 billion in its disaster relief fund as of September 15th to respond to a disaster such as a major hurricane. U.S. Customs and Border Protection tariff collections will continue, the Department of Homeland Security said on Tuesday. It also said operations funded by U.S. citizenship and immigration services fees would continue, along with services and operations essential for the running of the agency's exempt activities.